Greetings, my chess friends and students. My name is Milos, and I'm International Master of Chess and Certified FIDE World Chess Federation Coach. We are following the series on the greatest games in the history of chess, and I hope you will enjoy our commented games. And please subscribe below. And you know what else? Well, nothing. It's time to start with one of our fantastic and brilliant games. Game today is a game between Georg Rotlewi and Akiba Rubinstein, played in 1907, more than 100 years ago in Lodz in Poland. Player with the black pieces, Akiba Rubinstein, is one of the more famous chess players of that time. He was a player who actually had a chance to beat Capablanca and Alekhine world champions, and he also made this brilliance in 20 and something moves with a queen sacrifice. This is really a good game, very interesting game, very educational game, and I hope you're going to stay until the end of the video to see all these good ideas that we can learn from this game. So the game started with a d4 move, and Rotlewi, although a strong player himself, he probably was induced to play this game for a draw. And after the starting moves that creates a queen's gambit, the black decided to play a Tartakower. You can see that after 5 moves, the position is very symmetrical, and this is very interesting because down the road later in the game, the same thing is going to happen, and I will try to explain at that point one very interesting and very simple positional idea. White captures on c5, and after bishop c5, the white played a3. Obvious reason for a3 move is to play b4 and to take a space on the queen side and push the black pieces away. Interesting idea is also here for a white to capture on d5 and try to create isolated pawn for a black. Black continued with the move a6, making a space for his bishop to retreat. But interesting part that after b4, he actually decided to move to d6. It's a very interesting move, and I'm pretty sure that most of advanced players can already figure it out what will happen in a cd5, e5, knight e5, knight e5, and queen d5. This would be a forced line, and basically white will fall for a discovery. Clearly, when this bishop moves away, it should be a check. So after the check here, the white queen will also be captured. Therefore, white didn't fall for that pawn. He played a different move. He played a bishop e2. And after bishop e2, black just continued with development. You'll see very soon that this position looks very smooth and very symmetrical. If I would need to call a wrong move, I would say that queen d2 is it's beginning of the very wrong plan, because queen on d2 really doesn't have what to look for there. Maybe the white was suggesting rook d1 and putting the pressure on the pawn on a d5, but that is a long and not very successful plan. Black played queen e7. After bishop d3, dc4, bishop c4. These moves are pretty much forced, and the black played b5. White bishop is under attack. He retreated to d3, and then black played rook d8. Queen e2, bishop e7, and castle. This is the moment where I would like to spend a little bit more time explaining one very interesting point. If you look at the board, pretty much the whole position is symmetrical, except that black has a rook on d8. Now, think in this term. Whenever the white starts game, he has extra move. So through the game, he should keep that advantage of the extra move. So he should always have one piece developed more than black. And what's happening in this game, it means that Georg Rotlewi already made a mistake, and he created a very weak position for himself because he wasted at least 2 tempos, because we see a symmetrical position, and what we see is that the black rook is on d8. That is actually a good place for a rook to be. So the black already have a slightly better game. Now let's see what's going to happen next. Knight e5 is a very good move. It's activating both bishops. Both diagonals are aiming towards the king's side, and it's really putting white to a tough decision what he's going to do, because the black is simply threatening to capture knight f3 and make double pawns. Therefore, white must recapture, and after the bishop captures on e5, the black has a threat. To prevent black's threat, white lashed forward with the pawn on f4. Now, if you're wondering what was the threat, well, threat is all about this bishop on d3. The black has a couple of choices. He could first sacrifice the bishop on h2 and then go queen d6 check, creating a double attack and winning the bishop on d3, or black could play with a queen on d6, creating a battery attack towards the bishop and creating a battery attack towards the square on h2 that would win a pawn. For that reason, white played f4, and although f4 prevents black from winning a pawn, it at the same time, it's dangerously weakening the king's side. Lashing forward with your pawns, when it's not necessary in front of your king, it can be very, very questionable. At the end, this will hunt white, and probably that will be the reason why he lost this game. Bishop c7, e4, rook ac8, and then white moves e5. What you heard right now, probably heard some sound, that was Siri. And let's put the Siri off. e5, attacking the knight. So what happened now? What are we going to do with the knight? In a situation like this, of course, you're going to retreat with the knight. You can put the knight in the center of the board on d5, but you could retreat knight e7 and maneuver into f8. But you want something aggressive, something active. And this is actually where the black starts with his right plan. And with very active position, he plays intermezzo in between move check. And when the king moves away, he moves knight g4. Knight g4 is a very simple offer. You are offering white to go and capture queen g4 and gives you a bishop pair. Not only that you get a bishop pair here, but you definitely have a couple of threats. Your threat is to win 2 pieces for a rook, and we all know that any pair of minor pieces, any 2 bishops, any 2 knights, a knight bishop are stronger than the rook. So if the black gets a chance to give up the rook for 2 pieces, he did something already very well for himself. The second thing, with the rook on d3, you can actually move to d2. That would be even more dangerous because you would be threatening on a b2 and on g2. Therefore, white in this position tried to limit the active black pieces, and he tried to limit the active black pieces with a regular thing that we do in chess. When your opponent is active, you try to trade off his pieces because, well, just logically, his attack is going to be less aggressive and less powerful. I think that we all can see the first move that is coming here. Almost any chess player here would be played queen h4 and threatening queen and helper checkmate on h2. How to stop that? Well, there is 2 moves, g3 and h3. In the game, the move that was played, it was g3. But let's first think for a moment what happens if the white goes with a move h3. If the white goes with the move h3, the strongest move here in this position is fantastic sacrifice, rook c3. After this sacrifice, rook c3, if the queen, let's say, takes on a g4, there is one more fantastic move here. It is rook h3. Now this rook h3 pretty much is forcing the whites to take it with a queen. Taking with a pawn wouldn't make any big difference because it still would come up to the same. It would be a check with a bishop, and when the king moves to h2, it would be a rook on the second rank, and the game is pretty much over in a couple of moves, probably even checkmate. If he blocks with a queen g2, it would be a rook g2 and queen h3 checkmate. So what else white can do? He could try to play in this position queen h3. And after queen h3, we should capture. Pawn captures, bishop takes e4. King is now ready for a walk. And this one is never pleasant. This type of action we call king hunt. So when the king goes down the board, it would be very weak, very not. It's pretty much, it's going to be very easy to checkmate him here. You can see that basically we're going to have checkmate in a couple of moves, and the bishop g6 is a checkmate. So, of course, try to avoid to move your king down the board, except in the endgame. But this is just one of the lines that could happen on a move h3. And what else is clear? Well, it's very difficult here to find a better move or a better suggestion for a white. So let's back to the main line. In the main line, the white play move g3. And the white here is getting really amazing plan. The whole idea is about deflection from the key piece, that's the bishop e4. The key piece in defense is a bishop on e4, and black is going to use that on a really interesting way. You first sacrifice the rook on a c3, killing one of the defenders of the bishop on e4, and giving some options to white. Clearly, capturing the rook is just not going to work, because after bishop e4, there will be a very quick checkmate, even if it's rook f3, you're going to go here with a check. And if the queen blocks or queen captures, it's the same move of bullet. It will be queen h2, and the game is over. Now, instead of capturing on c3, white kind of helped black make a brilliant game, and he took on h4 and allowed black to play a second sacrifice and second fantastic move, rook d2. So we sacrificed, Rubinstein sacrificed the queen, he sacrificed the rook, now he's sacrificing one more rook, he's leaving pretty much everything on the board for free, and what white will do. Queen captured the rook, bishop gave a check, and then after queen g2, the final move of the game was pretty fantastic and like visually just amazing move, rook h3. After rook h3, the white cannot prevent rook h2 and a checkmate the next move. Doesn't matter what he plays, because, well, he could potentially try rook f3, but that would just prolong the checkmate for a one move, and then when the queen captures, it would be a rook h2. And the probably nicer picture is like if the white tries to go for his own backrank checkmate, you go rook h2 and finish the game with a checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this game. Please stay with our series and check for more new videos in the future. This is a brilliant game. Thumbs up for Akiba.